Welcome to the Rolling Stones Museum of New Jersey, Part 3, the 1980s. I hope everybody has been enjoying Parts 1 and 2, the 60s and 70s, and let's get started with the Rolling Stones in 1980. This is a sealed copy of their first album of the 80s, Emotional Rescue. It came with a poster. Like most albums that come with posters, the posters are usually inside, but on Emotional Rescue, the posters were wrapped around the front, so you didn't see the regular album cover, you just saw the poster on the front. This is also a sealed Emotional Rescue, a little bit later release, without the poster wrapped around the front. And then you could see the song titles better and all the different thermal images that they used on the album cover and for the video of Emotional Rescue. But here's some newspaper clippings around the time of Emotional Rescue release in the early 1980. Word is spreading that the Stones may split. Interview with Charlie Watts and the Stones, who admits he hates rock and roll music. Here's a newspaper ad announcing Emotional Rescue on sale. Here's a pretty big article about the Rolling Stones coming to, or Emotional Rescue, with a big article about the album. The first single was the same title as the album, Emotional Rescue. Flip side, Down in the Hole. There's the Down in the Hole B-side to Emotional Rescue. The second single off Emotional Rescue was She's So Cold. Nice picture sleeve. And the flip side, Send It to Me. This is the promotional Blue Label 45 for Emotional Rescue. Promotional copy not for sale. Stereo long version. And the flip side has a short version, although also in stereo. Double-sided Emotional Rescue. This is the promotional 7-inch 45 for their second single off Emotional Rescue, She's So Cold. Blue Label. Promotional copy not for sale in stereo, but as you could see, because of the lyrics in the song, this is known as the Goddamn version. And in case you didn't want to hear those particular lyrics, on the flip, it was called the Cleaned Up version. So you have the She's So Cold promo 45, Cleaned Up version, and the usually heard Goddamn version. The Stones didn't tour off of Emotional Rescue, but the album did pretty well anyway. So here's a copy of Billboard from the summer, August 30th, 1980, showing the Rolling Stones at number 1. The previous week they were number 1 with just 7 weeks on the chart. In March of 1981, the Stones released a compilation album called Sucking in the 70s. Many of the songs here were abbreviated or edited version, and this is a sealed copy with the sticker that came on all of the original copies, and the back said Sucking in the 70s. Interesting about this album, it came with a live version of When the Whip Comes Down, which was released officially for the first time, taken from the 1978 U.S. tour that we had only been able to hear on the King Biscuit Flower Hour. This is that King Biscuit Flower Hour that was promoted for airplay in 1979, and we didn't hear an official release of this until Sucking in the 70s, when we were able to hear When the Whip Comes Down. This is a Philippine version of Sucking in the 70s. Notice that it has a very small sticker as compared to the US and UK versions, which had the large sticker. Otherwise, it's the same on the other side, same track listing as well. In the summer of 1981, the Stones released Tattoo You, which is considered by many to be one of their best or favorite albums of all time. This is a sealed copy with the sticker promoting their first single, Start Me Up. And we see Mick in a tattoo, and in the back we have Keith, and then we could see all of the song titles on the back. Here's the picture sleeve for the first single, Start Me Up, with the animal's hoof and a high heel, and the flip side, No Use in Crying, with a picture of the album. And here is a rare jukebox insert with the misprint Shake Me Up instead of Start Me Up. The 7-inch Blue Label Stereo 45 promo of Start Me Up. Promotional copy not for sale. But on the flip side, we have a white label, and it's in mono. So mono Start Me Up, white label on the flip. The second single off Tattoo You was Waiting on a Friend, and this photo is a screenshot from the video that they shot in the village, and I've got some newspaper articles with some pictures of that filming that I'll show you momentarily. And the flip side is Keith's little TNA, another shot from that video of Waiting on a Friend. The 7-inch promo 45 of Waiting on a Friend in stereo Blue Label on one side, and then the flip is a white label in mono, same time, promotional copy of Waiting on a Friend in mono. So just like the first set of Tattoo Yous had the sticker with the one single Start Me Up, subsequent releases included Waiting on a Friend on the promo sticker on the front of the album. This is a large lithograph promoting Tattoo You. So you can see it's pretty big. It's the same as the front and the back album cover, but it's numbered, and this one is number 2330 out of 5,000, and you can see we have the autographs on the bottom. So the Tattoo You promotional lithograph. Now this is a version of Tattoo You that you're not going to see every day. This is from Korea, presumably South Korea. And this one comes with an insert of the song titles and lyrics, and it comes with a removable patch with Start Me Up and Waiting on a Friend as the singles. But if you notice, we have Start Me Up, Hang Fire, but what happened to Slave? They found it offensive, and if you look on the back for the song listings, we've got Start Me Up, Hang Fire, and where Slave was supposed to be, it's gone. But what makes it even more interesting is that they had to have used a different master to press this album, because this only has the 5 tracks. Start Me Up, Hang Fire. There's no Slave. It goes right to Little TNA, Black Limousine, and Neighbors. So you could see the bands here. This was a completely different master, perhaps a different acetate or test pressing because they found it offensive in Korea, and they took out the song Slave. So it's off the label, off the album cover, and it's off the vinyl as well. And the flip side has all of the usual songs. A lot of promotion went into Tattoo You. A lot of things were released. This is a school binder, which I'll open it up, and it promotes some of the other Stones albums, things about fan club. This was actually from the 20th anniversary a few years later, but this is just an example of the different promo things for Tattoo You. Of course, Tattoo You in 1981 gave the Stones a huge tour of America. Their first shows in Philadelphia, September 25th and 26th, 1981. And this little insert came in the newspaper, the Philadelphia Daily News. So this came out on the 26th, showing a picture of Mick from the 25th. So this is a poster that came in the newspaper the day after the first show. My ticket stub from the first show of the tour, Friday, September 25th, 1981, at JFK. This one from the next day, Saturday, September 26th, 1981, at JFK Stadium. Look at the price. Up a few dollars from the previous tour. My ticket stub from the Stones in Cleveland in November of 81. Then I saw them the next day as well, so Monday and Tuesday at the Richfield Coliseum, November 1981 in Ohio. This is the 1981 American Tour program, which is an album-sized program. Pictures mostly from the previous 1978 tour. And here's a picture of Mick on the back spraying the audience from that tour. When we open it up, it's got a picture of Mick at the press conference that he did in August 81 to announce the tour. The promotional postcard, which was also part of the stage design. So they included a lot of pictures from the 1978 tour. And of course the two keyboard players, Ian Stewart and Ian McLagan, who are no longer with us, and the tour itinerary. Some venues had their own special program. This is a tiny program from the Carrier Dome in Syracuse. Beer advertisement on the back. And inside some grainy pictures with information about the tour. Promo 8x10 black and white of Mick playing the guitar, the ovation that he used for Waiting on a Friend and Let It Bleed. This is a private photo, 8 by 11, or a pretty large color photo of the Rolling Stones at Madison Square Garden in November of 1981. This is during the Encore Satisfaction, where all the balloons came down. And this is a poster from Candlestick Park from October 81, from the shows they did out there. Bill Graham presents in San Francisco, the Rolling Stones. And this is just one of my favorite posters taken of shots from the 1981 U.S. tour. This was taken mostly at Madison Square Garden. There's Mick with Tina Turner. And finally, from 1981, their third single, Hang Fire. This is the 7-inch 45 promo blue label stereo on one side, and on the flip we have the white label mono promotional copy of Hang Fire. Here's just a small sampling of the tons and tons of newspaper clippings and things that I have. So this is the Stones at St. Mark's Place in the Village, filming for the Waiting on a Friend video. Here's a picture of Mick at the 81 press conference. Some articles about the tour, whether they are going to tour or not going to tour, about some of the arrests at the club show they did. Almost looks like the Street Fighting Man sleeve, but this was from the Worcester Club. Picture taken from '78, about the Stones in '81. Here's some shots from the Philadelphia opening show. The same day Sarah Day O'Connor was installed as Chief Justice. Other clips. I can almost see me in the crowd there in Philly. More color Philly shots from magazines. Stones keep rolling. All over the New York Post. A lot of cliche headlines. Stones roll at the Meadowlands. Sunday News, November '81. Stones are back. Boys are back. Daily News. New York Post. Madison Square Garden. More about the arrests. Madison Square Garden from November, New York Post, November 13th, '81. Police on horseback outside the show. Some Cleveland newspapers. And it just goes on and on and on. Here's a picture of Mick from the Coliseum. Sticker from San Diego. Silverdome in Detroit. In the Ann Arbor News. And more from the Cleveland Press. As we conclude the end of the '81 tour before they did their pay-per-view in Virginia. In the summer of '82, before they went out on their European tour of '82, the Stones released Still Life, American Concert '81, with tracks from various cities. This is a sealed copy of Still Life, including the sticker with the single Going to a Go-Go, same stage design as at the stadiums. The first single off Still Life, Going to a Go-Go. Here's the picture sleeve for the 45, same as the album cover. And the flip side is Beast of Burden live. The second single off of the 1982 Still Life album, Time Is on My Side. The front photo taken from the surprise Worcester, Massachusetts show in 1981. and the flip side 20 Flat Rock. Here's a 45 7-inch promo, Blue Label stereo, Going to a Go-Go, promotional copy not for sale. And the flip side is a mono version of Going to a Go-Go, white label. Couple variations on the second single promo, Time Is on My Side, is a double-sided stereo Blue Label promo. Same on both sides. But here's the alternate one. This is a white label mono on one side of Time Is on My Side, and the flip is the same song, Blue promo. The inner sleeve for Still Life, various ticket stubs, backstage passes, guitar picks, fan shots, same on both sides. But Still Life was also released as a double-sided picture disc. This was from the UK, and it has the same track listing, same songs, but it's got a picture disc on side 1 and side 2, different pictures. This is the 1982 European Tour program. It's a little different from the 81 tour program. It's the same size, but this one utilizes pictures taken from the previous 81 tour as opposed to the 78 pictures in the 81 US tour book. So on the inside we've got a picture of Mick with his yellow jacket and red shirt, probably from Philly. And then here's a map of Europe with the Still Life artwork. Inside, picture of Charlie Watts, Keith and Woody, more pictures of Mick. And inside, all the credits for all the people employed on the European Tour 82. And on the back inside cover, World's Greatest Rock and Roll Band, with pictures of all the other previous albums on Rolling Stones records and tape. In early 1983, Hal Ashby and the Rolling Stones put out a tour film called Let's Spend the Night Together, documenting the 1981 tour. And this is a movie house card that has a picture of the Stones playing on the front with the credits, and on the back it gives all the credits to the movie, and it shows that it's part of Embassy Pictures. So this placard was put on windows. It's a window placard for the movie Let's Spend the Night Together. This also came in a very big poster version, which I have back here. It's the same picture, but it's huge, and it folds up. So I'll just show you part of that. I have that in a big cardboard, but the little one is exactly the same, but it has those credits on the back. And to coincide with the movie, just like if it was a tour, this was a movie special program for Let's Spend the Night Together. So if you went to the movie, you got the program, kind of like a tour book. Let's Spend the Night Together. And inside has color pictures, mostly from the 81 and 82 tour. And it shows all the songs, pretty much the same songs that they did each show, plus all the credits for the movie. And it was the first that we saw the announcement of 20-year fan club. A couple more pictures from inside the Let's Spend the Night Together movie program. Remember, at the time in 1983, there was really no home video tapes for home use. This was not released on home video. There really was no such thing as home video at the time. It was just kind of starting. There was no YouTube, no computer. So the only way to see the Rolling Stones in concert on film was to actually go to this movie. I remember taking a bus to go seeing it and sitting through it twice because it was the only way to see the Stones. And speaking of that 81 tour that was put out on the Let's Spend the Night Together movie, I've got some special private backstage pictures of the Stones at JFK in Philadelphia. So here's some pictures. There's the band coming out of the hospitality suite. Here's a picture of Mick with some security. And then another picture of Mick as he's ready to go out on stage. Here's Bill Wyman getting ready to go out on the stage. Another one, Bill Wyman looking over before he hits the stage. This is Mick a little earlier as he was arriving. And here's Keith from the front row at JFK. Just prior to that, we have Keith walking in. Another one of Bill Wyman backstage. And finally from that JFK 81, there's Mick and Keith together on stage. In November of 1983, the Stones put out their next album, Undercover, and this is a sealed copy of Undercover, which includes the sticker about the single Undercover of the Night and a whole bunch of stickers covering various parts of the woman in the picture, and of course all the song titles. A similar shot was used for the first single, Undercover of the Night. This is the picture sleeve, and the single, the flip side, all the way down. The second single from Undercover, She Was Hot, and this one was special because it did come on the B-side, Think I'm Going Mad, which was a non-album track. Here's the promotional single for Undercover of the Night, stereo, album version, promotional copy not for sale. And on the flip, it's also blue stereo, but it's an edited version, so a little shorter in time. The She Was Hot, Think I'm Going Mad single came as a promotional shaped, tongued picture disc. So side one here, or the front side, you could see the tongue, and if you flip it, it's got the woman around the candle, and you could see the track She Was Hot, and then the non-album track I Think I'm Going Mad. Notice on the 45, it's Think I'm Going Mad, but on the shaped picture disc, it's I Think I'm Going Mad. So in 1983, with the release of Undercover, on the inside of the album, we started getting things for joining the Rolling Stones fan club. And this is when so many promotional items started to become available. So this was a flyer where you could send away to subscribe to Bill Germain's Beggar's Banquet, a fan who had inside contacts with the Stones and has recently written a book and toured about that book. Nice guy. But this is a flyer that showed how you could get all the promotional stuff, and now I'm going to show you all the promotional things that came out around 1983 or so. So in 1983, to coincide with the Rolling Stones' 20th anniversary, you could send away for this fan club kit. This is a sealed copy of the official Rolling Stones collector's kit, a big album size kit with the tongue on the front. And the back has a picture of all the different things that you could find in this collector's kit. And I'll show you what's inside. I have another one. This is my sealed one, which will remain sealed. So just very quickly, we have a letter welcoming you to the fan club, signed by President Bill Wyman. A replica of the letter Brian Jones wrote to try to get gigs for the Stones back in the early days, from January 2nd, 1963. It came with a Interview 45 disc, double-sided, 33 RPM interview disc. A lot of replicas. Replica Passport, replica Hyde Park 69 ticket, fold-out postcard set of various tour programs, tour posters I should say, and some shots of the Stones from the 81 tour. There's Keith and Woody, Bill, Mick, and Charlie. It also came with a huge poster with pictures of every single one of their albums to date. So it included everything up until 1982. So it doesn't have the undercover, I don't think, but it has the more recent still life, and it talks a little bit about the album, the tracks on every album, and it says Rolling Stones 20th on the bottom of this huge fold-out poster in the 20th anniversary fan club kit. Alright, here we go. So I'm just going to run down all of the different promotional items that started becoming available in 1983, mostly put out by Musador. This is a double-sided tongue display found in record stores. This is a sealed large box of Rolling Stones stickers, photos taken from the 81 tour. It's blank on the back, but this sealed box has tons of Rolling Stone stickers in them. This is a sample of some of the stickers that you find in an open box. They're called puffy stickers because they're kind of soft. Some of them are small, and then some of them are large. This is a large one of Keith. These stickers were taken from pictures from the 81 tour. Here's some other stickers on the back. And in case you get thirsty and hungry too, Rolling Stones promotional hot cups, yellow with the tongue, and it comes with this is a sealed set of matching napkins as well. Here's a Rolling Stones key ring with other pictures on the key ring. Another set of little self-stick decals. One of my favorite displays. These are the Rolling Stones miniature album collection, otherwise known as Chew Bops. And these are all the Rolling Stones albums on Rolling Stones Records that came as miniature albums. There's Black and Blue, Love You Live, Emotional Rescue, Exile, Goat's Head Soup, It's Only Rock and Roll, Some Girls, still life, made in the shade, Tattoo You, Sticky Fingers, and it came in a box. And this is the side of the box that has a big tongue, and it says Miniature Album Collection. So in case you're wondering, what does it look like on the inside of every one of these miniature albums? Most of the ones that I have are sealed, but there is gum on the inside. The rear has a checklist of all the different ones, but let's see what it looks like on the inside. There it is. So it's an album shaped pink piece of bubble gum. Of course, this one has not been chewed, and I don't think I'm going to chew it because it's over 30 years old, but this is what each album gum looks like in the Miniature Album Collection. Chew Bops. And this is an actual working 1983 Rolling Stones telephone. So it comes with a cord, plugs into the wall, and on the back there's a place where you could hang it on the wall or leave it as a desktop. And you take it off the receiver, take it off the hook, and you could dial push button like anything else. And it's a Rolling Stones working telephone, 1983. Here's a very rare promotional copy, not for sale, 45, taken from the movie Let's Spend the Night Together. This is yellow on Rolling Stones records. This is Let's Spend the Night Together, taken from the film Let's Spend the Night Together, a DJ copy. And on the flip side, we have Start Me Up from the film Let's Spend the Night Together. Very rare promotional copy released in the UK to promote Let's Spend the Night Together. In 1984, the Rolling Stones released another compilation album called Rewind. And you can see the front cover is made up of different shots from the She Was Hot video. And this is the American release. And you can see that they have there's 11 tracks on the American Rewind. This is the inner sleeve of the American Rewind, white with greenish song titles and words, and the same on the other side. The album on standard Rolling Stones yellow label. But here's an alternate Rewind. I think this is from Argentina. This one says the years on the top, 1971 to 1984. But unlike the American release of 11 tracks, this has 12 tracks and has an extra track, including It's Only Rock and Roll, and I think Respectable was the other track. So this has one or two extra tracks, different tracks. This one came with a little poster inner sleeve to promote the other albums on Rolling Stones records. Some of it is in Spanish, some of it in English, and more albums on the back. The inner sleeve of this one is white but with black lettering for the song titles and the words on both sides. Slight variation of the Argentina Rewind yellow label. Well, for the first time ever, in 1984, home video became the new trend, the new way to watch videos. MTV had been going on for about 3 or 4 years. You could get a bootleg VHS of the Stones, but this was the Rolling Stones' first officially released commercial video, and it was called Video Rewind, like the album of the same year, Rewind. This was Video Rewind, and this you could not only rent in the stores, but you could purchase this for home use. So this is the first Rolling Stones video, and I don't believe it's been officially released to this day. But this is Video Rewind, about Bill Wyman going through a museum, hopefully like my museum here, discovering Mick Jagger in a cage, and they watch old videos. And for the first time we see a lot of old footage in this Video Rewind, some of which was used a few years later for 25 by 5. Here's a fold-out record store 3-dimensional display advertising Video Rewind with the, look at that price, $29.95, and it lists the songs that are on Video Rewind. And this tongue sticks out, and then on the flip side of this promotional store display, it lists all the songs, and it talks about what the store could do and how they could advertise for this sales promotion point of purchase display. So this is Video Rewind in-store display. Another record store, video store promotional page in black and white that talks about Video Rewind. In the 1980s, we started to see lots and lots of radio specials featuring the Rolling Stones, and since there really wasn't CDs very prevalent in the early to mid 80s and even into the late 80s, these radio shows were distributed to radio stations on vinyl, and they all came with printed cue sheets. And this one is called Made in the Shade, from August 1986, a multi-album history of the Stones. These are all on green label, put out by Westwood One, and it's a multi-side Rolling Stone special, Made in the Shade. This is an advertisement for that Westwood One radio special, Rolling Stones special, Made in the Shade, Westwood One radio, black, yellow, and white ad. Another one called the Rolling Stones 20th anniversary radio special. This one came with an operations manual, multi-pages about the group, and cue sheets on the inside talking about the commercials and when to go to commercial and station ID. An example of the cue sheet for the 20th anniversary radio special with the songs, commercial breaks, station ID. This is about 8 LP. That's on a white label with red lettering. Another multi-vinyl radio special, Rock and Roll Never Forgets Brian Jones. This was from June of 1984. Comes with cue sheets, listings of the songs and who they're interviewing. The Rock and Roll Never Forgets Brian Jones special is on gray label, black vinyl, multi-vinyl, not for sale, broadcast used only. This one I haven't even opened. It's still sealed in the shipping box. This was the Rolling Stones Past and Present, a 12-hour, 12 LP historical look at the Stones. I do have it on CD in various forms, so I never opened up this vinyl set. This one is called Time on Our Side, hosted by Roger Daltrey of The Who. It's a Westwood One. I think it's 14 LP radio special with cue sheets. the time on our side. This is side 16, so I guess there's multiple albums. A Westwood one on a red label. I'll just show one more. There's just too many radio station interview promotional discs on vinyl to show. I just wanted to give a sampling. This is called Hot Rocks 1986, and this has cue sheets as well, like they all do, with the commercials, the song listings, when it comes out of commercial. And the Hot Rocks is on a white label with pink lettering. So those are all or some of the many radio station interview albums. Okay, one last one, because it's actually one of my favorites to promote Emotional Rescue, with Scott Muni, the DJ from here in New York. Radio meets the Rolling Stones from King Biscuit Flower Hour on vinyl. The first official Rolling Stones calendar, 1985. There's Mick and Keith, and each month has a different picture. Here's a picture of Mick and Tina Turner at Live Aid. It's not a rare picture, but my wife gave it to me, so it's in the museum. So in the mid-80s, CDs came into the picture, along with home video, and the first Rolling Stones CDs were on the London label, and they were made in West Germany. So I'll just show you a few of the set that I have. So here's the red and blue London label. This one, Beggar's Banquet, Let It Bleed, Flowers, with the blue and red West German label, also has the APCO label, and Between the Buttons. Just a few of the complete set that I have. I should make a note that the first Hot Rocks 1, which is the equivalent of the first album of the Hot Rocks, has very wide alternate mix versions, especially of Satisfaction and Get Off My Cloud, which do not appear on other versions of this CD. So this is a good one to get, the London, West German, or Japanese Hot Rocks 1. In 1986, we saw the Stones' next album, Dirty Work, which came with a red cellophane wrapper. This is my sealed copy, and it has the sticker with some of the songs: Harlem Shuffle, One Hit to the Body, and Winning Ugly. When it's not sealed, it's blue. Here's a promotional drawing of the Stones promoting Dirty Work. A magazine, large advertisement for Dirty Work coming on Rolling Stones records, available from Columbia Records. Same photo. And this is an in-record store bin display where albums are pretty tall, and this bottom piece would stay in the bin, and the album itself would come up to the top. So the album would stick out in the bin, and then the picture would be up above it. So this is a record store bin display promoting the new album Dirty Work. The first single off Dirty Work was Harlem Shuffle. This is the picture sleeve, and here's the flip side of Had It With You. The same picture sleeve came as a promotional picture sleeve, kind of unusual to have a promotional sleeve, but here it says Harlem Shuffle Demonstration Not for Sale on the back, so it doesn't have the flip side. Had it with you. So this is the double-sided promo Harlem Shuffle on each side. The second single from Dirty Work was One Hit to the Body. This is the picture sleeve, and the flip side has the song Fight. That picture of the album on the back. But just like the Harlem Shuffle promo picture sleeve, it's the same for One Hit to the Body on the front, but on the back it says One Hit to the Body Demonstration Not for Sale. So this is the double-sided promo for One Hit to the Body Demonstration Not for Sale. And when you flip it, it's the same on both sides. So a double-sided demonstration record for One Hit to the Body. In Canada, Winning Ugly was released as a single, both in 12-inch and 7-inch. This is the 12-inch Winning Ugly, and when you flip it, it's got a couple mixes, the London mix and the New York mix, and this particular one happens to be a demo copy of Winning Ugly. And this is what the label looks like, Winning Ugly London mix. And I still have it in the plastic. On the other side, we've got the, let me focus that a little better for you. Alright, we have the New York mix. In November of '87, I saw Ron Wood and Bo Diddley at the Ritz. This is the ticket stub from that show. And from that same Ron Wood, Bo Diddley show, November '87, this is the cup Ron Wood was drinking out of on stage, and I was really close, and at the end of the show, I took the cup. So this is one of two Ron Wood cups that I have. This one is from 1987. This other Ron Wood cup I forgot to show in my 1970s videos. This is the cup Ron Wood drank out of during the Saturday Night Live rehearsals in October of '78. He put it down to sign my autograph, and then when they called him back to the stage, Ronnie, where are you? He ran back up to rehearse but forgot to take his cup. So, crazy, silly me, I took Ron Wood's cup. At another Saturday Night Live rehearsal in 1988, when Keith Richards was the musical guest, I watched his rehearsal for hours on end. And I had brought this new Talk Is Cheap album that was just released. And he did Take It So Hard and Struggle in rehearsal, and he did it on the show. And Keith signed my album. Let's see if we can see it. There it is. Keith Richards, just in a regular pen, signed my Talk Is Cheap album during Saturday Night Live rehearsal 1988. I also got Steve Jordan. You can see it right there. Steve Jordan also signed it. So I have a Steve Jordan, Keith Richards signed Talk Is Cheap. Here's a ticket stub from Keith Richards at the Meadowlands, December 17th, 1988. On Mick's birthday, July 26, 1988, my wife and I were fortunate enough to see the debut of Mick's wife, Jerry Hall, in the Montclair State University production of Bus Stop. And that was July 26, 1988. My wife and I sat in the front row, second and third seat, and just as the curtains were opening and the lights were going down, who comes in and sits in the two empty seats just in row 5, just behind me? Neil Young and Mick Jagger. So I have no idea what the play was about because I couldn't watch straight ahead Jerry Hall in the play. I kept turning around to see Mick Jagger right behind me at Montclair State College to see Jerry Hall in Bus Stop. 1989 was a busy year for the Stones. They released another compilation album called The Singles Collection, and this is a promotional in-store card that talks about the Singles Collection coming out, and it came out actually in 3 formats. It came out as 4 cassettes, 3 CDs, and the very rare, hard to find 4 LP. This is a in-store record store counter display for the Singles Collection. It's a tent-shaped, double-sided display advertising the Singles Collection. This is the big album-sized song booklet that came inside, front and back, showing all the different picture sleeves of all the singles, and it lists all the songs and all the credits. This is the rare 4-record set. It's got the same front and back cover, big heavy box, and it lists all the songs that are on each of the 4 LPs. Some of these tracks were B-sides that were never released on vinyl up until the time of this release. The inner sleeves for the 4 LP set has the same black and white picture of all the US singles on the front, and the back lists all the tracks that are on each album. This is what the labels look like on the hard to find 4 LP box set on ABKCO, the London Year Singles Collection, digitally remastered. Also in 1989, the Rolling Stones were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And this is the very rare program for that night, showing all the Stones and all the inductees for that night. And if we open up the program, we see there's a couple pages about the Stones. Let me just focus this a little bit better. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Rolling Stones, and an article. More pictures and a lengthy article about the Rolling Stones, and they're very hard to find, only given out on the night of the Rolling Stones induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. This is the inside of the program, and a real old picture going way back to the early days. So this is the nice sized program, and this is the back of the program with the Temptations and Dion as well. At the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame induction ceremony, you could see all the artists that were inducted. They gave out this promotional only, not for airplay CD. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, not for sale or airplay. And this is the back, showing the songs that are on the CD. So the Stones have It's All Over Now, Satisfaction, Brown Sugar, and It's Only Rock and Roll on the promotional Hall of Fame CD. Since it was still the 80s, they gave out a cassette as well. So the cassette is the same as the CD, not for sale or airplay. This was the 4th annual induction dinner, Wednesday, January 16th, 1989, at the Waldorf Astoria. And 1989 was the big year for their release of Steel Wheels, which was the last studio album with Bill Wyman. And this is an advertisement 4 Steel Wheels being released on August 29th. So this is a pretty big advertisement for Steel Wheels. Steel Wheels was released on multiple formats and contemporaneously released on vinyl and CD. And this is my sealed copy of Steel Wheels, the vinyl. The first single off Steel Wheels was Mixed Emotions, which they made a video of as well. This is a white label promo demonstration, not for sale. It's the same on both sides. Demonstration, not for sale, white label promo, Mixed Emotions. This is the stock copy 45 of Mixed Emotion with the black and blue label. And the flip side, it was a non-album track. A lot of non-album track B-sides from this album, Fancy Man Blues. Second single, Rock in a Hard Place. And the flip side, also a non-album track, Cook Cook Blues. Third single was Almost Hear You Sigh. And the flip and album track, Break the Spell. The CD of Steel Wheels came in a couple different formats. This was the standard release in the plastic case with the regular CD. It was also released in a steel case. And there are two different versions of the steel case. One is the harder one to find. It says demonstration only, not for sale. Demo only, not for sale, in the steel case. And it opened up with the same booklet on the inside and the same disc. But the regular steel case Steel Wheels had the barcode, so this one was for sale, and it doesn't say demonstration only. So you had the demo only and the standard release of the steel-cased Steel Wheels CD. So to promote Steel Wheels, there was a huge North American tour, the Steel Wheels Tour of 1989, and it would be Bill Wyman's final tour of the States as a member of the band. It was sponsored by Budweiser. This is a promotional poster announcing the tour, and this happens to be a lot of about 30 still attached posters that were not used or not distributed. So this is the Steel Wheels poster, a whole bunch of them. The Stones opened their tour in Philly on August 31st, 1989. This is my ticket stub from the show I attended September 1st, 1989 at the Vet. And when Mick was addressing the crowd, he said, "Hi, we're the Rolling Stones. You may have seen us on the cover of Time magazine." Well, this is that Time magazine to which he was referring. The Stones appeared on the cover right at the start of the tour when they were releasing Steel Wheels and touring. And they were called Aging then, back in '89. Time magazine article. And here's a photo from inside the magazine. Some other ticket stubs from the tour, October 11th at Shea Stadium here in New York. Wednesday, October 25th. Thursday, October 26th. Saturday, October 28th. Row A. And Sunday, October 29th. Didn't stop me. This is the tour program from the Steel Wheels US 1989. This is a really big program. It's really tall and really wide. Probably their biggest program that they've put out. Some really large pictures and big articles on the inside of the Steel Wheels tour program. Bill Wyman's last American tour program, 1989. And the supporting cast. Cindy Mizell and Bernard Fowler. Lisa Fisher. In 1989, during the Steel Wheels tour, the Stones put out their second home commercially available video on video cassette, and this was called 25 by 5, celebrating 25 years with the Five Stones. And this was really considered at the time, and still is today, because I don't believe it's been released officially, the definitive story of the Rolling Stones. And this came out with videos that were never seen before, and it also premiered the MTV video of Rockin' a Hard Place. So this was a very historical video. Videos now are come and gone, but this video was considered very important, and I think it was a very well-selling release as well. So the second to last night of the tour at Atlantic City, the Stones were putting on a pay-per-view to conclude the North American Steel Wheels tour live from Atlantic City, and this is a promotional advertising announcing the concert broadcast for the 25th anniversary special. This is a rare promotional pin. Budweiser presents the Rolling Stones, Atlantic City Convention Center, December 17th, 19th, and 20th. The one on the 19th was the pay-per-view. The December 17th show that I went to was like the dress rehearsal. And here's my ticket stub for that Sunday, December 17th, 1989 show. And the tickets were $38.50 for the Trump Plaza then. One of my favorite bootlegs that I have that was released actually in the early 90s, but for this Atlantic City 89 show, was this gold 4 CD set. And this is one of my favorite bootlegs. I have a whole collection of bootlegs, which I'll probably do a whole video just on bootlegs, but I just wanted to show this because it's associated with the Atlantic City show. And this one comes with a bonus 4th disc that has songs that were not played at the show but played during that tour as well. And this is that gold bonus disc of the Atlantic City 89 show, which has the pre and post show documentary plus shows that the songs the Stones did during the tour but were not performed in Atlantic City. The defunct Swingin' Pig. And that's how the Stones concluded their North American tour and wrapped up 1989. Like every decade, every year, every month, the Rolling Stones make the cover of dozens and dozens of newspapers and magazines. So this is just a sampling of the dozens and dozens of magazines with the Stones or individuals on the cover just from the 1980s alone. You could see how they're on the covers of poster books, trouser press, Relics, Cream, Life Magazine, 2020, Musician, Circus, Us Magazine, Forbes, Rolling Stone, Q Review, Record, More Us, Musician, Rolling Stone, Record Collector. So the Stones, they're everywhere. Well, that concludes part 3 of the Rolling Stones Museum of New Jersey, the 1980s. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed parts 1 and 2, the 60s and the 70s. And please stay tuned and look out for the next part, part 4, the 1990s. Thank you for watching.